There can be no more magnificent backdrop for the final round of the Dunlop Tarmac Championship than the lakes and mountains of Killarney. Winding between the majestic peaks of the McGillicuddy Reeks are some of the most challenging roads imaginable. And the highest mountain range in Ireland has a Christmas icing to greet the 100th entrance on the Carling Rally of the Lakes.
Austin McHale in his Extravision BMW comes to the start ramp as the firm favourite to take his fourth tarmac title. From the moment the flag dropped on the 1990 series, it's been the battle of the BMWs. Back in Galway last February, McHale joined the BMW camp and one of the most exciting season-long battles ever witnessed in Irish International Rallying began. Bertie Fisher, being more familiar with the Bavarian beauty, was initially quicker on the saturated Galway stages, as he and his new co-driver Rory Kennedy set out on the long road towards the major prize that has always eluded him. Bertie got away with this close shave in the tough Mac car, only to lose a lot of time when the battery packed in on a later stage. And the ever-present prowling McHale, who'd obviously been trying, was right there to take advantage and grab a debut win in the BMW. So one up to the Dubliner. The next meeting between himself and the Ulster driver would be at Easter.
On the Circuit of Ireland, Austin was the only finisher of the pair. Then came Donegal. The car was now black, but the outlook was bright, as Austin engaged in a three-car battle with Fisher and Bonner. His old rival now trailed him in the championship by 15 points, but as you can see, he was really trying to make up the deficit. The third musketeer in the Donegal battle was Vincent Bonner, and the tension was electric. On day 3, Bonner retired, Fisher got road penalties, and Austin got his first Donegal victory.
And he's been so close so often.
Bertie was on home territory for the Ulster Rally, and with a lot of points to make up, he really went for it. But with David Llewellyn about, a maximum score was unlikely. However, the gap to McHale was reduced by the Dubliner's retirement on the first day. Bertie was more than pleased with second place and 15 points. He would gain another 15 on the Isle of Man. That time, it was a bitter disappointment as he dominated the event before a puncture cruelly robbed him of victory. Austin McHale also retired on the island, but the roles were reversed in Cork, where Austin gained his third win of the year, which gave him a useful 10-point advantage coming to Killarney.
And slide right. Slide right. Quick left. Good. 70.
The other quick pair on the tarmac trail were James Cullen and Ellen Morgan in the Brooklyn Sierra. He could have won Donegal but for a blown turbo. But his problems were not moments like this, but sadly, a lack of finance which prevented him from coming to Killarney.
The inside story in Group N was the battle between the Cosworths belonging to Banbridge driver Kenny McKinstry and Welshman Bob Fowden. The start to Fowden's season couldn't have been much worse, as he got a puncture just 2 miles from the beginning on the first stage of the year in Galway. Kenny McKinstry really came on stream on the Circuit of Ireland, where he beat very stiff opposition to win the category. And in Donegal, he had one of the new Sierra Sapphires, prepared by Bob Jewett. The Sapphire was used again on the Ulster Rally, but Kenny and co-driver Robbie Philpott were just one of 7 crews to be caught out by a very deceptive left-hander.
60 crest and 6 left. Crest and 6 left. Into 3 right. We just get the next car slowed, can I? Aye, well, I'll get the next car slowed.
A further retirement on the Manx meant that Bob Fowden still had an outside chance of the championship in Killarney.
The Carling Rally of the Lakes is the beginning of Christmas for motorsport, but the peddling Laplanders aren't the only celebrities present.
I'm down here in Killarney this weekend to see what's going on, and I must admit now that it's fairly phenomenal, you know. Absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere about the place, it's great.
The visitors, however, who are creating the biggest buzz are the crew from the Soviet Union. But first, the bad news from the clerk of the course.
We're left with no option but to cancel stages 1 and 2. Therefore, the first cars will start at their scheduled time of 1100 hours, but the route from the start to stage arrival control 3 is free.
It's a hard decision, but a very wise one, as Malls Gap and Ballochbeamer are covered in packed ice, and without studded tyres, the conditions could be lethal.
I think it was a wise decision. You know, if I break up my car over ice on Malls, there's nobody going to give me a new one. So I think there's no fun in that type of thing anyway. And I'm glad that Mike has made that decision.
Some of our boys were up on Malls Gap this morning, and apparently the first 6 miles of the stage is perfectly okay. But from there on, apparently it's very, very thick ice. And I think the organiser made a very sensible decision.
The stage, if it's icy, is impossible to drive on. The biggest problem is that the next 2 stages, although it's drying out now, you know, you're going to arrive into corners where there's a bit of shade and you're going to be into ice. Very, very difficult situation.
Well, the rally on ice is not too bad at all if we get plenty of scotch and ice when we come back. We'll be back a little bit earlier, hopefully, and we'll get plenty of it down. We've done a good bit of a Thursday night.
Well, Michael Lester, this is your second great adventure out into the great unknown world of rallying. This is really a hard one.
It is, Plum. I have to say I'm much more nervous going into this one than I was in the circuit at Easter. I don't think I've been this nervous since Manchester United signed Jim Leighton a couple of years ago. But I am happier that they've cancelled the first 2 stages. Malls Gap I was not looking forward to this morning.
But ice or not, there's a rally and a championship to be won.
We're 10 points ahead of Bertie at the moment. Bertie's lying second, and if he wins, 4th or better will do us. You know, but having said that, I've won Killarney twice, and I would like to make it 3 times.
Carroll Lake is well and truly under the grip of winter, and grip is a thing that's in short supply. So, how do you play it in a rally car? Cool and cautious? Don't you believe it? Icy roads and chilly waters would be a deterrent to most, not to Austin McHale and Dermot O'Gorman, as we see from inside the BMW.
Slight left, 120. And easy right, tighten second half. Slight left into quick left. Easy right and left. Easy right and left, cut 150. Quick right, 200. Absolute right, 300. Absolute left, 150. And quick left long, 150. And slight left at pole.
In the open, the risk of ice isn't so great, but in the shade, it's a different story.
And danger, ice, absolute left, danger, ice. Ice on absolute left, 250. Absolute right, 300. And left entry, turn 90 right, cut.
Austin isn't joking about wanting to win as he sets the target time for the conditions.
Bump, repeat, and bump. 200 over bumps. 150. Quick right and easy left over crest. And easy left long, 130.
Bill Connolly in second place makes a spectacular approach, which gets him into slight bother. The experienced Dan Daly arrives. But who's this on his tail? It's the Bolshank twins. They're not supposed to know anything about this type of rallying. Fisher, who must win, is being cautious, but not here. He's lying fourth. Mike Patterson in the Group A Cosworth is fifth. Bob Locke is sixth. Johnny Keating seventh. It would have been higher but for a puncture. And here's another sensation. Mike O'Leary, who leads Group N. Ahead of Kenny McKinstry, who's in 9th place overall. Bob Fowden is the third of the fast Group N Sierras and just inside the top 10. Ken Lyons is in big trouble with his new home-built Sierra. This puncture will lead to a suspension failure before the end of the stage. Des Moore looks quick. But Declan Wilmot is quicker as he's caught the Mark III car. Martin Grandin is complaining of overheating in his Lancia Integrale.
If Carroll Lake was tricky, Churchtown is treacherous.
Absolute right, 130, turn square right at sign.
Conditions can change from bone dry to sheet ice instantly. At over 100 miles an hour, it's not good for the nerves.
Absolute left, 130. And caution, straight press, slight right. Straight, right. Slight right, slight left.
McHale's bravery has the Extravision car 3 seconds clear of Bill Connolly's BP Manta. But nobody has reckoned on the Russians. In fact, if it hadn't been for a 10-second road penalty, Nikolai would be leading the rally. Fisher is fourth, only 6 seconds behind the leader. And Killarney man Mick O'Leary, only in his 6th rally, is leading Group N. It's almost as sensational as the Russians. Dan Daly, a regular in Killarney, is in the top 10. And gliding over the glass-like surfaces, Michael Lester and Joe Foley in the Sunbeam.
Back in Killarney, we were eager to meet the Russians. Nobody had reckoned on a performance of this magnitude from the Muscovites. And worse still, nobody had brought an interpreter.
The Irish people are very impressed with your driver.
Спасибо, да, мы любим снег и вот такую дорогу ирландскую, как у вас.
Your driver is impressing many people in Ireland.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I'm saying your driver is impressing many people in Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay? Igor, your driver is very good.
Yeah, thank you.
These conditions, they must be a little bit similar to home. The ice and this.
Yeah. Like, my brother like driving on ice and snow.
So this is just what you ordered, is it?
Yeah, it's Russian water.
So out we go into the Russian water and the night. With Mall's Gap and Ballochbima still unpassable, it's back to Carroll Lake for the second time. The Russians' occupation of the top 5 place is very impressive. Mike Patterson is next to come under the hammer. Up front, the BMW battle is intensifying. Fisher, realising he's been too cautious on the first 2 stages, now puts the pedal to the metal. And he's closing the gap on Austin McHale, who's carrying our camera.
Quick left to 70. Turn very fast, square right.
At the end of Churchtown, Fisher is in the lead. He's not only made up the deficit of 6 seconds, he's gained a further 18 on McHale.
Caution, quick right with ice. 70.
But again, it's the Russians who've been bringing the midnight sun to the spectators' eyes, as they're now in 2nd place, only 8 seconds behind the new leader.
On Sunday morning, the BMW trio lead the rally out over the reopened Mall's Gap, but only 6 of the 13 stages are usable. However, at last this is a real taste of the Killarney stages. Bertie Fisher in the Tarmac BMW has nothing to lose, so it's maximum attack. But the opposition is coming from a very unexpected source. Nikolai and Igor Bolshik, the 41-year-old twins from Moscow. And these two could easily upset the Irish rallyman's plans. McHale's plans take a serious setback. The M3 is sick, and he must not slip below 4th place. And that's where he is now, because Bill Connolly catches him at the end of the gap. Mike Patterson is still in 5th place, and Declan Wilmot an incredible 6th in his old Mark II Escort. McKinstry is back in his customary Group N lead, and Keating is 8th. And it's no wonder that Mike O'Leary is hitting the headlines with driving like this. Dennis Cronin struggles to the end of the stage with a sick engine, and now it's the father and son department, Stephen Price and Liam O'Callaghan. Des Moore is still recovering from a big fright on Carra Lake last night when he had a 100-mile-an-hour trip up a ditch. And the Isle of Man driver, Bob Locke, keeps his 20-valve Quattro in the top 10, but sadly, not for long. Bob Locke, what's happened?
Well, I think we see the reason now why they cancelled part of this stage. The part of the road coming up here was just absolute sheet ice. The stage finished about 3 miles back. We were just cruising up and the car slid wide on the ice and clipped the rock. We've damaged the suspension.
So you've risked your neck up the first bit of miles gap at high speed, and now you've slid off at no miles an hour at all, and you're out of the rally.
About 15 miles an hour.
You must be sick.
Well, I think it's the luck of the Irish. We've still to have a good result in Ireland, so maybe we should stick to the Manx.
At Castletown Bear, Nikolai Bolshik experiences another Western culinary delight, a Kerry cheeseburger. But for Austin McHale, it's a worrying time.
You gave us a bit of a heart attack at the end of Miles Gap. What was wrong?
Not a half as big a heart attack as I got at the start of it. About 25-30 metres at the start of the stage, the car went in 2 cylinders, and it was very disappointing for us because Miles Gap was this morning. We definitely intended to have a good run over that stage because it's a stage I like very well, and eyed up a plug really is where the problem was, and we just dropped a heap of time. We dropped over, I think, 40-45 seconds to Bertie on it, and something about 30 seconds to the second car, and the rally's gone a bit of a disaster at the moment.
Cod's Head has been the graveyard of many rallymen's hopes in the past, and for Austin McHale it's a worrying 9 miles, but the Extra Vision car sounds healthy again. On the Group N front, things have really opened up. Mick O'Leary in the Grundig car has passed the man who had him the Cosworth. Kenny McKinstry in the Caliber car is in big trouble. That's his gearbox you can hear. Bob Fowden can now smell a Group N victory, as he's only 39 seconds behind McKinstry's Cosworth. Declan Wilmot's fine drive will end on this stage when he rolls his Escort out of the rally. And in the 1600 Group N class, there's a mighty battle between the Toyota Corollas of Trevor Cathers and Seamus Gallagher.
One glorious stage follows another in the Carling Rally of the Lakes. As Charlie Hickey crests the hill at Ardgroom, there are now only 4 stages left to decide the 1990 Dunlop Tarmac Championship in both Group A and Group N. So all eyes are on McHale, Fisher, McKinstry and Foden. Austin McHale is on a real charge, and he's moved up into 2nd place with fastest times at Cod's Head and on this stage. Let's go aboard. Dermot O'Gorman's microphone is out as we travel across the Ardgroom headland at frightening speed. Nikolai is now just 1 second behind in the 3rd ProDrive built BMW on the event. But Billy Connolly can't quite match the BMW pace. Yet he is less than a minute behind the Russians. And now the Group N drama. Kenny McKinstry has done a temporary repair on the gearbox and he still manages to hold on to the Group N lead. But the pressure is getting to Mick O'Leary. This mistake puts Bob Foden ahead on time. And the Welshman, being ushered down here now, is in with a real chance of a Group N victory on this event should anything happen to McKinstry. Down the back of our groom, it's narrow, loose, bumpy and very, very fast. That skull sign means real danger. On the left, nothing but fresh air. Luke McCarthy's beautifully prepared Manta is moving up the charts. He's 9th overall at present. But Brian McGrath, sadly, is going backwards. He lost time with a puncture. Liam O'Callaghan has a class win at the Dunlop Championship in mind. And John O'Brien has no time to answer his sponsor's mobile phone. Ardgrim is taking its toll. If you listen carefully, you can hear that the exhaust has come loose on Austin's car. Brendan Kelly, remember him last year? He will bring home another bent Toyota from Killarney. And here, surprisingly, is one of the very few sunbeams in the event. Tony Murphy's example from a 5. As the finish board approaches, Austin has done another fastest time in an impressive recovery drive that is protecting his championship hopes and brought him up to 2nd place.
Cod's Head is looking hostile the second time around. There are now less than 30 stage miles left to decide the championship. And McHale is looking good for his 4th tarmac title. Spirits are high inside the Extravision car. Victory on the Carling Rally of the Lakes may not be possible, but that Dunlop crown is getting closer. And then that dreadful noise is the differential, and there's no hope of repairing it on the stage. Now the drive has completely gone, and all Austin and Dermot can do is coast to the side of the road. Gone is the transmission, gone the rally, and gone the championship. These are black times for the McHale team. A year's efforts have been washed away due to one mechanical failure.
Now Fisher's only worry is the Russian, who is only half a minute behind.
Nikolai and Igor mount a phenomenal attack over the last 3 stages. Their names will be remembered with reverence for many years to come with displays like this.
Bill Connolly and Tom Meaney in the BP Manta 400 have been in the top 4 for the entire event. He follows up his 2nd place in Cork with an excellent 3rd this weekend.
Mike Patterson and Philip Monaghan have been the epitome of consistency in the Ears Cosworth. 4th is their reward.
Bob Fowden puts on a mighty late charge to take Group N. When Kenny McKinstry and Robbie Philpott falter on the last stage with a blown turbo. However, 2nd in Group N is enough to take the championship.
And what a weekend it's been for Mike O'Leary. 8th overall and 3rd in Group N in a hired Cosworth. On Art Groom 2, however, he's passed by Con Randalls, who over-revs in the excitement and retires from the rally.
Luke McCarthy has been picking up places all day. The Corkman will finish 7th.
Stephen Price has put on a remarkable show to finish 9th overall in a 1300cc Nova.
Charlie Hickey and Ger Murphy complete the top 10 in their Mark II Escort and win the hotly contested clubman's class. All the more credit to them as they finish ahead of the very experienced Connie Smith. And here is Connie Smith.
Then there are the other class winners. Trevor Cathers wins the 1600cc Group N class after his battle with Seamus Gallagher.
And George Cullen, brother of James, takes the Frank Hogan Toyota to a Group A class win.
Dolly Muirhill and John Diggin win Class 10 in their Nissan.
Liam O'Callaghan wins not only his Group N class on the rally, but also the championship for Daihatsu.
While Brian Farmer and Timmy Hogan from Tralee take the 1300cc Clubman's class in their Escort.
And Jim O'Brien takes his class in the Stallion.
Philip Sanford is the small Group N class and championship winner in the Suzuki.
In Killarney, the news is confirmed. Bertie Fisher and Rory Kennedy have won the Curling Rally of the Lakes and become the 1990 Dunlop Tarmac Champions.